Hello, everybody, and welcome to Quantum Leap Revisited, a show that we do once a week where we talk about the classic show, Quantum Leap. And today we're going to have a very special stream because, on one hand, we're going to wrap up a loose end that we had from last week where we kind of uh, rank the bottom of the barrel episodes, the ones that we like the least. And we were really getting somewhere with that list, but there were so many people that voted for them to be like in the D range or whatever it was that we kind of uh, we had a loose end, and I've placed Nick in charge of resolving any issues that we have today.
We're in trouble.
I'm just kidding. I don't even know how we're going to figure this out. Let's first of all, of course, with me as always, Nicholas the Backyard TARDIS. He is, of course, a minister in his town, locksmith, sheriff, raises goats, expert in sci-fi. Then you have Ro, who's the co-founder of the Red 5 Network, and also a broadcast news veteran, in charge of production, news production, things like that. I'm trying to think. I don't know why today I'm more exhausted than usual. Did I forget any titles, Ro, or is that okay?
Supreme Leader.
Supreme Leader. I also actually, usually I think you're up here. Not that it really matters that much, but
not at all. Not at all.
I do feel bad. You know what? I just realized that there's always a logo on you. Does this always happen, Ro?
Yes, especially when you put me up there. It doesn't matter. I'm good.
Now I feel bad. How did I never realize?
Well, he gets the logo, and then I'm usually at the bottom when we're on the side, so all the chats cover me.
Yeah,
I see. All right. Well,
it's the nature of streaming.
Yeah.
Tell some jokes for a second, because I'm going to go find the list, what we did last time, just so we can.
I'm not sure if this is a joke, but so end of the year as a locksmith, I'm having to do a lot of government stuff, trying to get the end of the year, and so the post office in a little town called me into Riki Locks, but they had 2 classes of first graders having a field trip there learning about the post office.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm there working on the outer doors. They filled the room with first graders, and I've got to open the door to work on it. And somehow open door to first graders mean we should walk through it. So it was like just this constant, no, don't go out the door. I'm trying to take the lock off. But
that's funny.
They're all, they're supposed to be standing there listening. But like the moment the door opened, like kids just say, "Oh, we're going through the door now."
That's funny. That's like the mice in the maze, Too funny.
Okay, Nick. I think I have something we can do that will be a step in the right direction. I think. Share screen. Okay. And now what are we looking at? So this is what we did. This was our list.
Can we crop it so that it doesn't have the freeze frame of us, so it's easier to see?
I love this that there's multiple us now.
Yeah. You're frozen.
This is the best thing that ever happened to the stream, that we get to look at each other looking at Quantum
You should
Leap.
confuse the chat, Nick, and put your glasses on.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna
We're
fix
really
this.
Gonna be in trouble. I don't even have my glasses with me today.
Okay, I'm gonna fix this, Nick. I know what I need to do. Okay. Now let's see if this will be better. My apologies to the chat. I probably could have done this better, but hold on. Okay, now we're gonna share it. Share. Hopefully this, and Ro will be happy too, hopefully. Actually, no, it didn't work. Okay.
I was going to say, if we're moving it around, don't we need it in an actual file?
Okay. So first of all, I just need to know what this is. This is the best I can do at the moment. I think, at least. Maybe I can embiggen it, like Ro likes to say. Is it bigger?
Oh, there you go.
Yep, there we go.
Perfect.
Okay.
It's
Well, now at least we can figure out. Did we have like a list? I'm the worst. See, this is why you don't put off something from one day to another. I feel like we had a list, but I don't remember now what happened to that list.
well, I mean, we had a list of all the um that was just a copy paste into the private chat that we were working with.
Tex is getting antsy.
Tex is right. I'm thinking to myself, should we even go through all of this, or let's
That's
do...
what I was saying before we started. Is
Okay,
that this
okay,
is
I'll
going
tell
to
you
take
what.
us so much time that we should do the listener appreciation, and then next week, our last Quantum Leap one be finishing off this list.
Okay, so you know what? I'm thinking maybe you're right. Let me let's do let's ask the chat what they want to do. We're gonna do a vote on.
I think Tex speaks for the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, should we focus on chat appreciation?
What say you, chat? And I think I smell a poll coming.
Okay. Here, I wrote, should we focus on chat appreciation? We'll give everybody a minute to vote. I feel like people are going more in the direction of chat appreciation.
It's Tex appreciation stream, as Matthew McGee says.
Ooh. It's interesting. I'll give it a few more seconds.
Well, the only reason why, because I see some people saying, finish this off, then do chat appreciation. But we already said that we were going to do chat appreciation today, so I don't want people who specifically showed up for that to then.
We can start with chat appreciation. Maybe we'll find a way to combine between everything. Let's first of all, anybody that has a link can now use that link. So people that reached out to me and asked for a link and they have a link, they are now welcome to use that link. I feel like nobody has used it. The chat appreciation is going to be us appreciating each other, talking to the chat.
Yeah.
Remember, this is the chat appreciation moment, guys.
Come on down. The
Come on down.
The floor is open.
It's funny. We're not going to get even one person. This is the funniest chat appreciation. Not even going to get one.
Remember the first tier list video, and Tex was just so confident that we nailed it.
Oh,
and
we
then
got
last
one.
week, we'd been going on a rhythm. We seemed like we were going to have it all good. And
we got the two chat representatives of all time in the back and backstage. So
we do. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
I don't know. Are you?
I am ready. Let's do it. So first of all, in the order that they've arrived, I want to add to our distinguished panel Ron Donofero, also a person that's been here really from the beginning of us doing this chat. He's here every week, and this is just going to be a treat for us to hang out with him, which we do every week, but not in this way. So without further ado, Ron Donofero. Wait, let me see if I can. Where's that button with the applause? Okay.
And I think Ron is muted.
I think he is muted.
Huh.
Wait, now he's muted, but
Now
before
he's muted. But before we
he
couldn't
was
hear
unmuted,
him.
but his mic wasn't connected.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Ron.
So go into the little settings thing, and then there's a mic settings. It might be attached to something else.
The little cog settings
Yeah.
button.
Testing 1, 2.
There you
Yeah,
go.
we can hear you.
There I am. Hello, everyone. Honored to be here.
Well, honor to have you here.
Great to have you.
Absolutely.
So we have Ron Donofera with us, and now next in line, the one and only Tex Rogers. Oh,
Tex.
sorry, I need the applause. Wait, hold on.
Come on, applause.
You hear Tex's voice. The guy could be on radio easily.
Tex, can you hear me?
Howdy, folks. This is
There he
Tex
is.
Rogers.
And that's not his voice.
That is not my voice. This is my real voice.
Sounds good,
Good
man.
to
I've
have
heard
you.
your real voice before because you sent me something that you were singing, something like a church choir type of singing thing that you had, which is very interesting.
Yeah, it was all I could find at the time. But
Well-
thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
And we're honored to
Um,
have you both here.
Yeah, we appreciate you both.
Thank you.
We've been talking about this for a while, and here we are in Chat Appreciation Day. And yeah, so first of all, I guess how do do you have anything you want to say or comment on now that you're here? I feel like maybe you've always had something you want to say. So we'll start
Now's
with you,
your
Ron.
chance. Now's your chance.
Ron, do you have anything to say?
Well, I really think Tex should go first, and nothing comes to mind at the moment. But aside from, I'm glad to be here, and you guys have made my Thursday evenings very enjoyable. And I love this group, and the chat group are fantastic.
Let me ask you guys, both you guys, a question. You can take it one at a time, but I'll use my news broadcasting skills here, interview wise. But you guys have been with us since day one, and I'm not sure if you guys knew Price beforehand. You followed him from another show, but what were your expectations going into this series? And for me too, it was the first time that I had ever done anything like this. I've never seen the show, so I watched it for the first time, where you guys all have seen the shows already. But what were your expectations going in? And now that we're done, did they either live up to your expectations, or how do you feel we did?
Ron?
I thought I was waiting for Tex. Okay, fine. I'll start. Well, I wasn't actually here at the very beginning of this review. I found out the Price was doing it a few episodes in, but I knew Price from before that because I mostly ran into him when I was looking for reviews on, oh boy, I have to say it,
The
the
new
new Quantum Leap.
Take a drink.
And yeah, so I mean, I was kind of making posts on his reviews from the new Quantum Leap, and I liked his reviews, and then found the group here, and I went, oh, I was just thrilled that he was doing the original Quantum Leap, and it was pretty much as the way I expected. Good reviews of a good old sci-fi show, and never expected such a fantastic chat group.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, great Thursday evenings.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool that we've been doing this for 2 years. I feel like there's real commitment, not only from the panel, but the chat. And it's really become this nice thing that we kind of hang out every week. And that's why even today, I'm going to tell you more about what we're going to do moving forward, which I think people are going to like. And yeah, we feel great about you guys also. I mean, as much as we enjoy doing the panel, I think having this group that comes back every week to hang out with us, it's something that feels special. There's different streams that I do, and sometimes you have people that come there more frequently, but I can't think of another stream that I'm involved in that has such a kind of like the same crowd coming every time and all hanging out like this one. And I mean it in the best possible way. So, we're always happy to see you guys in the chat. And that's why when Tex said, hey, maybe, now after all these episodes, we'll do something where we can also hang out in the panel and we can all, talk to each other. I thought it was a great idea, and happy to see you here, Rhonda Nefero. Now, Tex, you can answer whatever Ro was asking.
Well, pardon the mention, but I was watching the new Quantum Leap series, and I was kind of on the fence until they went into about 6th or 7th show. Then they had a total woke, politically correct, horrid, terrible show. And I was looking I was wanting to see if anybody else thought like I did about it. So I was looking and I kept seeing these reviews glorifying and saying how great the new Quantum Leap is. And then Price of Reason reviewing that show and talking about, and I can't remember, it's the 5th or 6th one. He'd done some before, but I found the show I was looking for, and he blasted it and mentioned things I didn't know, that the writer was an activist. And it's like, okay, great. So I started reading all of Price's reviews and kept up with him as he posted about the new Quantum Leap. And then I heard he was starting this one and jumped into this, which is how I got here. I was expecting it to be pretty much what it was. I've been super impressed with the people I met in the chat, have been just fantastic. I've never been in a chat before. Candidly and honestly, most of the podcasts I listen to are laced with profanity, which I don't want to listen to and don't want to be a part of. And I really have enjoyed the discussion of a show I like. And an interesting side fact, I love Ron's new background.
Oh, yeah, but it's backwards. I need to flip it.
But I lost my train of thought now. But I've really enjoyed the people I met, and some of the views. Nick has had. It's great to see Ro, who has not watched them before. It's been great to hear his inputs, and I always, of course, enjoy listening to Price. And then Nick has had some fantastic insights that have made me re-look at things. And so I've enjoyed the panel. The chat has been fantastic. It's been really something I look forward to on Thursdays. I mean, Price is always on me for being critical about the chat, and I'm not as much into shows here. In fact, a secret that I've mentioned to a couple people is I don't consider myself a fan of Quantum Leap, really. I like the show, I've watched it, but I've never considered myself a fan of it. But having said that, I like the show. I just don't consider myself a real fan of it. But I've enjoyed all this, and it's gone pretty much like I thought. I'm not as much into film and movies and shows as a lot of the other people are. So when I didn't mind saying this person was in this show, but then we would divert and go and talk about shows or movies I knew nothing about.
We can tell.
We knew we were wasting your time, Tex, but we did our best. But I will say that I think that Tex softened his position over time, because initially I think in the earlier episodes he'd be like, this bores me, I'm leaving, and things like that. Like he'd announce his departure and things like that. And over time I feel like he enjoyed being part of the chat and being part of the conversation, and I saw less messages of, you're wasting my time, I'm leaving.
Yeah, I gotta apologize, Tex. I brought up Taylor Swift way too many times just to get a rise out of Price.
Well, I can't remember, although I just remember being off topic. I remember being more annoyed early on, but I got used to it. I realized it's going to be a little longer show. But I don't remember. I just remember many times you go off on things I knew nothing about. And it's like, well, I hope we get back to Quantum Leap one of these days. Anyway, Ro, does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, one of the things obviously that I'm hearing is how wonderful the chat is. And I think, when you tune into a YouTube show, whatever that show is, you obviously tune in to hear the panel talk about whatever it is that they're talking about. But I think this show is unique where, not only are you hearing us and what our contribution to the discussions are, but you're also in a group of in the chat with some equally unique insight. And I love seeing the contributions that you guys have had over the years, talking about or pointing something out or adding to the discussion. I think this is really an incredible, I guess, categorization of what YouTube shows should be. The interaction between the chat and the panel is textbook example of what fans should be, how we should be doing it.
Also, I want to just say, Tex, obviously I'm just kidding, and we always enjoy, even a lot of the times where you're kind of quote unquote giving me a hard time. A lot of the times you'd make comments that I found interesting, meaning like somebody said here that this thing, where was it, that Tex keeps us on track, and that's true. Many times maybe we were meandering around talking about something else, and we do have to be on point, so you'd be like, we'll never make it in time until the end of the stream, and then we all go back to talk about what we needed to. So it was actually helpful. It's not,
Well,
everybody had a role.
everybody has a role, and you have
I
your role.
mean, from Mary with the super chats and the putting up names, and I mean it's been fantastic.
And
I think
Lisa Katryan rides a bicycle.
Everything has been kind of on point. A real community.
Matthew and Chrissy.
And I would say, it's striking a balance, and you help us to do that, because I have, I rewatch a lot of shows and then find a podcast while I'm rewatching it, and some will stick strictly to the show. They'll do a 30-minute podcast, and because they go off on no tangents, or they don't really sometimes it just seems like they're reading the recap and going through scene by scene, but there's no conversation because they don't let it play out.
Yeah.
And then but then others, they're doing a rewatch podcast, and his Ro will say, he's not there for 20 minutes of baseball talk about the recent game, or talking about going to their doctor's appointment. You can get way off track real fast, and we do occasionally, and you help keep us there. On your thing about not considering yourself a fan, sometimes that's because of, I know I'll be that way sometimes with certain properties. I'm pretty big into the Star Trek, know the world pretty well, but for years, when people would ask me if I'm a Trekkie, I would say no, and I wouldn't say it because I look down on that word or something like that, but I'd say it because I just felt like I know so many people that can speak Klingon, or quote every ship name and captain, and it's like I can't do that. I don't feel like I've earned the title of, but I think you have a pretty good knowledge of Quantum
Considering
Leap
how
now.
much you don't like Quantum Leap, you're one of the biggest experts that doesn't like Quantum Leap that I've met, Tex.
Oh, I don't dislike it. It just, I don't consider myself a fan of it. Just like to answer Nick, I define a Trekkie as somebody who would go to conventions, and I don't, so I'm not a Trekkie.
I'm a Trekkie.
But I will say for the chat, and even though it's Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry came to my college, lectured, and brought 2 reels of Star Trek bloopers. It was a very memorable night. It was between Star Trek 2 and Star Trek 3. Because one of the questions the audience asked is Spock really dead? and Gene Roddenberry's answer was one word: sweat.
Yeah.
Well, he was dead, but he got better.
Right. just a little flesh wound.
Well, that's cool that you had Gene come to your school. Like, all I got was a couple of retired 49ers. So
Yeah, but I'm old.
I don't know. Nobody here is 20 years old,
We're not spring chickens.
Right.
Or
And
goats.
I'm still trying to it's kind of interesting because we spend so much time in the chat, and now you're here, so I'm thinking to myself, it's a special occasion. I also put a message here that if somebody else wanted to hop on, they're welcome. I want to say that Mary White sent a video. I think it's like a video file, like a greeting for everybody.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to try to load that up. I'm just trying to find it.
is there a show or property, Tex, that you would consider yourself a fan of?
Oh, absolutely. I'm a huge fan of
Babylon
Babylon
5.
5. And I'm kind of on the border of Star Trek. I might be a fan of Star Trek. I mean, I like it. It's something I'd sit and watch the original series. Humor, that's sci-fi. Humor, one of the funniest shows they've ever made ever is a British show called Yes Minister and Yes Prime Minister.
I remember that. It started off as Yes Minister, but then what happens is that he becomes the Prime Minister, and then they change the name of the show from Yes Minister to Yes Prime Minister.
Yes, he failed upward, the writers said.
Right, exactly. Which that was a funny show. I haven't watched that in many years, and I think only you and I are the only people that ever watched it. But I actually do know what show you're talking about.
Cool. Well, my wife, one of the early Yes Prime Minister shows was so funny. My wife was falling off the sofa laughing.
It was kind of ahead of its time. I don't know how to explain it. Like the way they make fun of politics. It was funny, from what I remember. Haven't watched the show in years, but I do remember it being very funny.
It blasts bureaucracies. It makes enormous fun of bureaucracies.
Right. I mean, it puts a very silly satirical spin on that whole government thing and bureaucracy, like you said, and the fact that the minister and then the prime minister is such a clown, but that, like you said, he fails upwards. That in and of itself is very funny. It's those type of classic British humor type of shows that we used to get. They don't even make them anymore because they make shitty stuff. Sorry, Nick. Make crappy stuff now. You were just saying that I never use bad language.
You got to say sorry to Tex now.
Yeah.
Remember, he came to our stream because we're not cussing.
Well, and you were talking about something I'm
Theorizing
interested
that
in.
one could time travel within his own lifetime, Dr. Sam Beckett stepped into the quantum leap accelerator and vanished. He awoke to find himself trapped in the past, facing mirror images that were not his own, and driven by an unknown force to change history for the better. His only guide on this journey is Al, an observer from his own time, who appears in the form of a hologram that only Sam could see and hear. And so Dr. Beckett finds himself leaping from life to life, striving to put right what once went wrong, and hoping each time that his next leap would be the leap home.
That gave me chills. Great voice, Mary.
Very nice. You did
Very
a very good Deborah Pratt type of reading here.
Yeah. I might need to contact you for some voiceovers for my projects.
I once, I think that I actually early on, I tried to invite Deborah Pratt, but it's hard inviting people on a show when you're an orange puppet.
Exactly.
It's interesting that even though I'm an orange puppet, we still had some guests here. But
yeah,
at some point also, sometimes it's tricky with guests because there was once an episode, I don't want to say who it is or what it is, that somebody almost ended up showing up for an episode. And at the last minute, I was told that person wouldn't show up. And then we did the episode. And prior to it starting, everybody on the panel thanked me because they said, man, this episode is awful. If you would have brought this person, it would have been so uncomfortable. Like, we're so relieved that this person didn't show up. So, it was nice having some guests, and I really liked having them here. But I think that over time, we had our own thing going with our chat and with our people. And I just figured, let's focus on that. I don't regret it. It's still nice that we had some guests, though.
Yeah, for sure. And not like the gaffer of season 3, episode 4.
Right. No, we had people that were in the episode talking to us.
I would have taken the gaffer. They could have given us some interesting stories.
Right.
But Mary White, that was very well done. Some of the I've been exploring out, expanding my Quantum Leap fandom since we've done this, and there's some fan audio dramas on YouTube that might want to hire you. It was pretty good.
I'm saying.
It sounded good.
So we kind of asked this for Tex. So for Ron, what are some of your other big shows that you're a fan of? Or
clearly Star Trek. I mean, I love Star Trek. Boy, it's hard to say off the top of my head. I I like a lot of shows that sometimes other people don't like. For example, you guys were once talking about, now I can't think of the name of it, Smallville. And
Yeah.
people were saying that they didn't like Smallville, and I enjoyed Smallville. But I like the superhero kind of thing. But I would say, if anything, I would have to say, Star Trek, Star Wars. Of course, I think I told you guys in the chat that I do have a personal link to Star Wars. So, not for years, but yeah.
Did you know the gaffer?
No.
Yeah, so I mean that's the thing. We got Ro here. He's famous for if you cut him, he bleeds Star Wars.
Okay. Well, I met Mark Hamill 2 or 3 times. He wouldn't know me from Adam, but I went through Boy Scouts with his youngest brother Pat. They lived in my neighborhood up until Star Wars, at which point they found somewhere else to go because everybody knew where they lived. And the funny thing that I was just telling Tex this earlier today, the funniest thing I remember about knowing the Hamill family was that I was in my early teens, and my mom would allow my sister and I to stay up past our bedtime to watch this show called The Texas Wheelers, which was this, B show that maybe lasted a half a season, but Mark was in it, and we knew his family. Well, of course, I didn't care that Mark was in it. I just wanted to stay up past my bedtime. So there's my Star Wars story.
One thing that I appreciate about the chat, and this has been, I'm pretty sure, like from the beginning, we always talk about, when we get on here, we talk about Quantum Leap and we do our thing, but sometimes it's great to kind of check in with the chat to see what conversation is happening, because a lot of times the conversation in the chat sometimes could be different than what we're talking about on screen, and it's just fantastic, the back and forth. So I want to give kudos to all the folks that just kept the chat going activity wise, whether it was related to what we were talking about or not. It's just wonderful to see so much interaction in the chat itself. Like I said, you guys could have your own show that is just, chat comments, which is great.
Yeah. And, talking about some of the ones you brought up there, Ron, with Smallville has a lot of things that makes it not for everybody, but
well, it's a little too drama-ish compared to most superhero shows. I mean, I can see that.
But, and then not compared to the shows that it inspired, because all the CW shows take everything that was wrong with that and kind of do it more.
Some of them are pretty bad. I've been watching Supergirl, and I'm not sure I can finish it because it's getting so
Supergirl was there were things about it, but when it moved to the CW, it moved there right around the time that we had a certain president's first term.
Okay.
And the writers, when they started talking about putting up a space force-filled wall to keep
it was pushing a lot of political things, and I'm watching it for sci-fi superhero action, and I'm like, no guys, I don't want to hear about politics when I'm watching sci-fi.
And it was just one of those things. It's like, this is what you're hearing about all the time elsewhere, so and I feel that's true no matter how you stand on some of those things. It's kind of when it becomes all it's about, that's
well, it depends. I mean, if a show does it properly, I look at Quantum Leap, the original. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it tackled a number of very sensitive issues, but it did it in a very well-written, not in your face or trying to force you to their conclusions type of manner. It just said, here's a statement about this thing. And, political things can be done well. I think that's another reason I like Star Trek, is it's the same way. It tackled some issues within the stories without being so in your face about it.
Yeah. When it comes to Star Trek, how are you love everything up to a point?
Well, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the newer stuff. I mean, I watched Discovery for about a season and couldn't take it.
I don't know how you even watched it a season. I think that I stopped after one episode.
Well, like Tex will tell you, I will give things a chance longer than I should. Doctor Who comes to mind. I watched it all through the female Doctor one until I gave up on it. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like a lot of the newer ones that they've done are not really Star Trek.
Yeah. And
By the way,
They're awful.
Nick, I should have said that the other show that I'm a huge fan of is Doctor Who, the classic Doctor Who. In fact, that was my number one. That was my number one show till Babylon 5 just edged it out.
so, as much as I talk about Doctor Who, I'm actually newer to that fandom. I got into Doctor Who at the time of the 50th, and my boss was going to go see it in the theater. And he came back and he enjoyed it so much. He spent the whole next couple of days just talking to me about, and none of it made any sense to me. I didn't understand anything that he was referencing. And before that, all I knew Doctor Who from was really my pizza place had a Doctor Who pinball machine. And it has
That's
all the
strange.
doctors, with the 8th Doctor kind of being the biggest because it was right when the movie came out.
95-ish.
Yeah. And so I thought that was the Doctor. I didn't realize all those guys were the Doctor. I had very little, but I started there with Eccleston, but at the same time, I was working my way through that and then started watching what was the classic on Netflix at the time, which was weird because it was like 4 different stories for each one of the Doctors is what Netflix had at the time.
Wow.
So I binged through that. And then it was after that I signed up for like BritBox and went through and watched all the classics. Then I went crazy. I watched Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures, and then
Wow, you got through Torchwood?
I don't think I finished Torchwood.
It's
I didn't
very, very different. My friend was in Torchwood, but it's very different. It's not as family friendly as Doctor Who is.
My wife,
I
my
never
friend
really-
would. I couldn't watch it. It had was it James Marsters, if I'm getting the name right, and not his normal role, I think.
I didn't get into Torchwood or Sarah Jane Chronicles or anything like that. There were so many episodes of Doctor Who to watch.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to say that's it. I did watch the pilot with Sarah Jane and the canine dog or whatever it is. I watched the pilot episode of that for the failed series.
The worst show of them all, Price. Have you seen K9? Not K9 and Company, the pilot you're talking about, but the show K9.
I've not seen that.
I don't think I saw the canine show. No.
The first episode. So somebody bought the rights from the BBC to the canine dog, but not the rest of Doctor Who.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
And so in the first episode, K9 gets separated from the Doctor. He looks like K9 in the show, and then he gets mortally wounded and regenerates. And he looks like those robot dogs from the late 90s, early 2000s that are all like smooth and bubble ears. And
Oh,
This sounds awful.
it's if Sarah Jane Adventures is like a Disney XD, like Zach and Cody, Hannah Montana, like something type level of show quality. This was like a live action Nickelodeon show. It was so bad. And I bought it off of Amazon Prime, watched 2 episodes, and I've never been able to bring myself. I spent money on it, but I still can't consume it.
Well, that happens. But
it's basically the principle is every week, a bunch of like 7-year-olds and K9 defeat an alien.
I see. I did want to use this opportunity to let people know what we're going to be doing. Now, according to what you're saying, Nick, you think we should still do this worst episode thing, or should we just leave it as it is?
Well, we do that, and then that should finish us out the year because then it's going to be the Christmas week.
Right.
And
So
it's
maybe
like-
maybe we start the new year with the new show. We'll do the
Yeah.
worst of the worst next time. You know, it could be a very relaxed setting. But what I'll say is that the next show that we're doing, and Nick, it was funny because he thought we weren't live, but we were live, and he talked about it. Actually, a long time ago when we started the show, Rose said that it's too bad that we're so focused on this one show, because if we could watch different pilots of different shows and see how they came about, it would be really interesting to explore that. And little did Ro know that we'd be here 2 years later, and now we have the opportunity to do that. So
Wow.
what we're going to do is we're going to do like a different pilot of it. We'll start with pilots for now, but I think we're going to do a different pilot of different TV shows every week. And we're going to be going for some classic shows. So, for example, I thought that the first one we'll do, that maybe we'll do it now after the new year, but the first one we'll do will be Knight Rider. We'll do that. And we're going to put together a list and maybe even ask you guys what shows you're interested in. We can even do that now, just to, it'd be interesting to hear what shows you like. And if there's a show that everybody likes, it's maybe one that we could watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could be something that we also get some input from you guys. But at the end of the day, we start with Knight Rider. We could watch, the first episode of Star Trek Enterprise, because Nick was like, "Shouldn't we do that?" And it had Scott Bakula in it. We could totally do that.
Manimal.
Yeah.
When Price was
Automan.
I remember Automan.
Floating this around.
Was that the one where the thing would turn real fast and he would slam up against the wall of it?
I think so. That sounds familiar.
Matthew Marcillo
part of
says,
Automan.
Yeah, Automan. Yeah.
Matthew Marcillo says that he liked Time Tunnel. Time Tunnel, I did watch that as a kid. We could do, one episode of that because it's a time travel show. We have so many possibilities now. And I think that what's interesting about pilots is that you can kind of see how what people were thinking about a show at its very conception, at very early point of it. A lot of times these shows changed, but it's always interesting to see how something started. So
yes,
I think that'll be an interesting idea.
Well, I would agree with that, with one caution. A lot of shows pilots, they're doing a lot of character development, so you got to give them a bit of leeway.
Mm-hmm, sure.
Yeah.
And it's 2025. I think we're pretty, I think we know that caveat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit nostalgic. It's going to be a bit funny. And we're also going to be understanding. A lot of times when you do a pilot in general, you don't, there's a lot of things you have to tweak later. But I think that it'll be interesting to see how these pilots play out. And there's so many great classic shows that we could watch that I think that a lot of people are going to enjoy.
Yeah. And it's a great way to start it, and maybe eventually we'll pick another show or something. But in talking to this, I think some of it, like Knight Rider, that came out of us talking about it and getting sidetracked with the show. You've both come on and mentioned how much you love Babylon 5. I think Script is the only one of our panel that's seen Babylon 5. But I mean, that's one you guys are going to have to expose us to. So, and
you guys haven't seen Babylon 5?
Babylon 5 to me reminds me of the video toaster, which is the computer that was responsible for making its special effects. I was like really into the technology back then, but I have not seen Babylon 5. But I know the only thing I know about Babylon 5 is the guy that uses 3 cans of hairspray on his hair.
They did use the Amiga video toaster for our season 1, I believe.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, although I don't know how old Script is, but I'm pretty sure I'm the youngest on the panel at 40. But
there's my gray. Okay.
I'm 29.
Sure, Ro. And but when Babylon 5 was on, that would have been while I was a teen, because that's when Deep Space Nine was on, and I didn't really get to pick what I was exposed to or watched. I was very limited on the amount of TV I had, and that's not something. A lot of these shows, when they cemented down to me, it wasn't through streaming. It was through in my early 20s, I bought everything by seasons on DVD. Every time I got a paycheck from work, I'd go by Best Buy and buy at least 2 seasons of TV.
The olden days.
And
did you see the shelving behind me before I put my point up?
Yeah, your 8-track tapes.
No, those were all Blu-rays and DVDs.
And I've said, like, I've pretty much sold it all after I got married, and to at the time through my mid 20s, early 30s, still trying to keep up with gaming. I've lost that battle now. It's watching my daughter get into gaming, but I sold off a lot of that to be able to buy that now that I could stream a lot of it. But so that it's on my list. It and Farscape are kind of right there in that time period. The Primal or Primeval or whatever, and Sliders. Those are the other like those 4 are kind of like the big 4 that I kind of missed during that period, that when people find out I haven't seen, they're like, you didn't watch, you're into all these other things. I'm into, Buck Rogers and
I like
Flash Gordon.
A lot of people didn't like Buck Rogers. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I liked a lot of those shows. And there's I think a couple of years ago we did a Buck Rogers discussion on the Scarab podcast. We did Space 1999.
But I like not just the more recent one. I like the black and white versions.
Yeah.
So
So Nick, I wanted to say that I watched the pilot for Babylon 5.
Okay.
And I thought this is going to be a ripoff of Deep Space Nine. There's a character who can't remember some period of his life. They'll be like Gilligan's Island Cup every show. Not interested at all. Skipped it until it was 3/4 over. Then found out that the executive producer was online and was talking about the show, and that he had a 5-year plan for the show and everything meant something. And he said he does not believe in letting things go a season without getting answered. And sure enough, in the first season, they answered the missing gap of time, and that hooked me, and I watched it from the end of season 1-ish to the end.
Yeah, it definitely has a very dedicated fan base, which is what that and I keep going back like that and Farscape, and the other one that I only recently got into that I wasn't allowed to watch when I was younger, which was X-Files.
Yeah.
So that's
up until Doggett, great show. And the Doggett ones aren't that bad.
You know what's funny about the part that Doggett shows up? I think that those later seasons, Vince Gilligan, who's brilliant, by the way, he joined this show initially as a writer, and then he became like a assistant producer, and then he became like the producer, and then he became the showrunner for the final few seasons. And in interviews, he basically said that show is what motivated him to finish Breaking Bad after 5 seasons, because he came to the conclusion while working on that show that even if you have really good writing ideas, once they're in the like the 6th, 7th, 8th season, when there's been so many changes to the show and you don't have your audience, you could work very hard and do a lot of interesting things, but it just won't be appreciated. And he said that he understood firsthand what it meant when a show had outstayed its welcome. And then when he worked on Breaking Bad, he did it in 5 seasons. And I think at the end, when he was doing his 5th season, they said, hey, we'll pay you millions of dollars if you do a 6th season. How many millions do you want? And I think he said, no, I'm finishing. This is it. This is the end of the story. There's nothing more to say. We're finishing this story now. And then like that's how he he did it. It was very interesting to learn all of that. I actually I also jumped ship in those later seasons just because it wasn't anything against Robert Patrick. It's just that I was sick and tired of like Mulder showing up and not showing up. David Duchovny
Yeah.
didn't want to be on the show, then he does want to be on the show. It's like, guys,
They
this is like,
stretched it a lot and
yeah,
any answers, and it was frustrating for an audience. Yeah.
right, like they did like a question, and then you think they're going to answer, and then there's another question. Now you can do
Right.
that for a while, but at the end you start turning into J.J. Abrams if you
Right.
don't start answering.
Oh, it's nice when a show actually ends.
Mhm.
And the one that comes to mind that a lot of people don't know about is there's an old show called Continuum. I don't know if any of you have heard of that one.
I've heard of it.
It is a time travel one, and it's a
Which
real
one?
good one. Continuum.
Continuum.
I've never watched it.
Oh, it is good. It's one of my favorites. And one of the things I really like about it is that when it was over, it was over. They wrote a conclusion to everything. They didn't leave anything open for let's see if we can get a sequel or anything. They just
Mhm.
properly ended it.
Yeah, it's so hard. Especially some of these shows that they have an open formula, like Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap, the formula could go on forever. They could have done 10 seasons of Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't feel, but there is sometimes a natural progression and a need to wrap stuff up. I know I'm one of my top fandoms is Stargate. And the first show went 10 seasons. But they constantly were jumping networks and getting extended, and they would end seasons with the idea that this was the end of the show, and they would either end it or they would leave it for like all we'll need is a movie to end it, and then they get renewed for another 2 years. And so they're like, shoot, we killed off all the bad guys in the finale, so they'd have to create new bad guys and that was fun and it worked. But I think after season 8, they killed everything that was kind of tied to the movie, and so then they had to create a completely new and they had pitched it as a new show, a spin-off show, and they said nope, the SG1 name is what carries it, and you need it, and half the actors had already left, so they had to spend a whole season with half the actors not there because they'd gone on to other things and they were having to pull them back. And then they got canned the next season. And so they built up this whole new big enemy, this whole big thing. And then they had to, and they had a 5-year plan. And then they got 2 years of it and then had to do it all in a movie.
Let me ask you guys something, because Nick, you said that Quantum Leap would have been okay if it lasted 10 seasons, would and as we've experienced, obviously, during the later seasons, they tried different things to kind of shake things up a little bit, shake up the theme. Would you guys be okay with them not trying anything new to shake it up for 10 seasons? Or do you feel like even the series that we just finished reviewing, even though they tried some stuff and some stuff didn't work, are you guys okay with that being a thing where the producers, maybe, throw a curveball into the mix?
I don't mind. I when they did the Evil Leaper, which is basically something that the network pressured Bill Sario to do something different, I didn't mind the Evil Leaper. I thought that was a cool idea. Maybe they could have executed it better, but I didn't dislike the idea.
Well, and the other point to that too is, do we consider Mirror Image canon? If that's true, that's a whole new show thing with Sam leaping out of his own and all that, where that may have gone.
Sure.
Yeah. Which is funny because Ron P. Belisario in an interview says that Al's still helping him. It's but I look at it like if the way they were in the final season there, shaking it up that much, no, it could not have gone on 10 seasons with that much of that. To me is studio pressure, studio interference. But I look at a show like Law and Order.
Right.
It's the procedure where he's saving. They can do a unique situation. I think, yes, the longer they go on, he's going to need to go to Paris at some point, or do something new to make it a special thing. But
it's like the Brady Bunch Hawaii episode.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have to do it all in one season, and you do have times like the Evil Leaper thing.
There were 3 episodes of Brady Bunch in Hawaii, and wasn't Vincent Price in those episodes?
Yes.
Man, that's some classic TV there. And that they had that was it like a little statue that they thought was bringing bad luck, and the spooky noise. Brilliant television. Brady Bunch in Hawaii, brilliant. Sorry, Nick, go on.
Of the things that I was going to hear Price say was brilliant, the Brady Bunch Go to the Hawaii was not one of them that I was expecting on my bingo card.
The tiki doll.
The tiki doll. It is just fantastic. I mean, they did shake things up. They were in Hawaii, and there was as a kid, totally won me over. I was mesmerized by the bad luck that the tiki doll was giving them.
I saw Brady Bunch as a kid, and I've had no interest in going back to it. But I did work with a guy who was such a fan of the Brady Bunch that he knew their home phone number. You got to be a real fan to know that.
Yeah,
it showed up in one show.
Sure.
But
that's like Columbo. Did you know that Columbo's first name actually shows up in one show?
Oh wow, no.
Yeah, his name is Frank.
Glade Riven says, "Howdy, been a bit lurky lately." Well, that's good to know. We do know that we have some people like that, because there is like a steady amount of people that watch these streams, and I think that some of them, they just listen to them and they don't say anything, which is cool. That's happened to me before. There are streams I listen to and I don't participate. I just kind of listen to them. Anyhow, go on, Nick.
Yeah.
Well, what was I saying?
Oh, that. But I look at that, and some shows, though, you really can tell that they go on too long, especially if they go past what the premise of the show was. Ron and me were talking earlier about Smallville. That was all about, Clark Kent's high school years, before he was Superman. And then the show went on, 10 seasons, and they end up all in Metropolis, and he's facing Zod and Brainiac and all these characters before he ever puts the suit on, and he's a reporter and all that. And it's like, well, now the show it's not what the premise of the show was. This is now
it lived a little past its actual end. A few shows do that.
And I feel like a lot of shows, unfortunately, it's not usually creative reasons of why a show goes on or stops. It's usually
politics.
Studio.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a business, like movies and TV shows. I mean, there's a balance between, keeping the creatives happy and then keeping the studios happy. But I think at the end of the day, the studios are the ones that control how the shows go and for how long. If they're still making money, then obviously the suits want to continue that, because it is a business. A lot of people talk about how movies are art. I think they're more a business than art. There are art elements in movies, but a studio makes movies to sell tickets, not to make art.
By the way, I forgot to tell you, I don't know if we all talked about this, but Martin Giro, the guy that's doing the new, I guess, Stargate, whatever it is, he was interviewed on some stream, and curiously, they asked him about Quantum Leap, in which he tried to present it as though he admits that mistakes were made on that show, seemingly taking responsibility. But the problem is that it sounds good in theory what he says, but what he never mentions is yes, he didn't develop the show. He was brought in to rework the show. But for example, he refilmed a whole new pilot. And he had 2 seasons, which he didn't even deserve, to course correct this thing. Meaning the idea that he's like, shucks, I just couldn't do anything. It's like, dude, okay, the pilot that they filmed wasn't good. You refilmed and you did a whole new pilot. I would say that at that point, you do have some creative control over how to course correct this thing. He's like, I tried to do things. I tried to do this. I tried to do that. It's like, dude, again, when you have like 40 episodes to do it and you can't course correct even one thing, that's a problem. And I really didn't like, that he was trying to actually throw everybody else under the bus, but not sort of taking responsibility, but not really. And he never also took any responsibility for the fact that he hired literal activists to run his writer's room or whatever it is. He brought in, I'm not saying activists like as a funny term that I'm using to describe them. Literal activists became writers and producers on this show. It's his ship. He's the captain. If he's not going to bring people that actually bring some integrity to the writing room, and he brings like activists and he just wants to lecture people and do all this kind of garbage, whatever he was doing there, he can't then sort of deflect it and be like, I was just like a cog in the system. No, you were the showrunner. He did at the end said, well, I never said that everything I did was perfect, but I was put in a difficult situation. Again, difficult situation, you could say, if let's say it's a movie that's like a 2-hour movie and you have to get it ready and release it to the theater and that's it. When you have 40 hours of television in which you can steer the show in a whole different direction, beginning with the pilot, and you run it straight like the Titanic into the iceberg, I don't think you can sit around and do like, shucks.
Are you talking about the Gate World interview?
I think it's called like Dial.
Yeah, they simul stream it on both
or whatever. It was like if I ever if there's ever a big scandal that I get into and I need people to just sit there and like give me the most softball questions and be like so supportive, never pushing back on anything and just tell me how great I am, I'm going to Dial of Gate or whatever that place was called.
Okay, so like you have to also keep in mind that like when he was directing Stargate, like Dial the Gate, like those guys were there on set. They were being brought in on set for Gate World. So they have a long-standing relationship. They know his kids, they know his family, so there's that. And the Stargate fandom is extremely excited that he's coming back because that's where he got his start. This
is going to be a Russell T Davies coming back to Doctor Who situation, unless the guy has learned a real lesson. Unless he comes in and he's like, no more activists, no more weird crap, no more insulting the viewer. I really want to do something good. You know what? Maybe he'll do something you like. Based on the fact that he couldn't even properly admit what the real problems were in Quantum Leap, and he was trying to point in other directions for why the problems existed, I looked at it. Thankfully, I only know Stargate from the movie. I never got into the show, so like it's no problem for me. But I know a lot of people that care about this revival, and I'm saying that unless he went through a real process with himself, really learned the lessons, maybe even from my videos criticizing him, unless he really learned the lessons, then I don't know what to tell. By the way, I've said this before. I have good reason to believe that he's watched at least a few of my videos at the time criticizing Quantum Leap. I have my reasons for saying that. It's not something that I'm just saying like, lightly. And I believe that he at least watched a few of my reviews. And if I were him, I would sit and watch all my reviews and take notes and learn from all of his mistakes. And maybe if he listens to every single criticism I had in that show, he can absorb it and do something that's not crappy with the new Stargate.
I seem to remember, Price, you're saying that you thought he had watched some of your reviews in the later
I'll tell you why. How do I explain this? There were a few videos that suddenly somebody may or may not have had an issue with. And when I asked about it, why there was an issue, I was told that it was something, and keep in mind, now we have all this AI stuff. This is pre all of that, because this is already a few years ago. I got like a message written by a person explaining to me that this was a manual situation, meaning somebody from a certain, on behalf of a certain network, decided to personally, even though seemingly I didn't do anything wrong, there were issues that were done manually, if you understand what I mean.
He paid somebody to squash.
No, it wasn't that. It was, I'm going to be very careful because I don't want to wake people up and start doing stuff. But let's just zoom out for a second. There have been studios sometimes that suddenly they see somebody that does a bad review, and they're not so happy that there's bad reviews. If you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So all I'm saying is that a few things that happened behind the scenes that I've only mentioned, for the first time now, it gave me reason to believe the way it was described to me that they had caught somebody's attention, and let's just put it that way. There was also a situation that I've told before recently that there was one thing that I said that I had an issue with the show, that I mentioned that Magic was supposed to be like some kind of general in the army, but he's working at a base where everybody just talks down to him all the time.
Yeah.
And like he says stuff and they don't listen to him. They treat him like an idiot. And I kept saying, like, in a few videos, I was very harsh in explaining that on a military base, this would never fly. Like, there's no way you can talk to your commanding officer, a
Right.
guy with all these medals and stuff, and talk to him like some idiot. And I said something like, I said a sentence like, this is a military operation. He's in charge, or something like that. And then maybe a few months later, I watched Quantum Leap. And suddenly, as usually, one of those the new Quantum Leap, of course, one of those I don't know if it's the security officer lady or one of those other ones, they like kind of talk down to him or bark at him or something like that. And then suddenly he says, "Excuse me, this is a military operation and I'm in charge of this operation." And the thing is, he used almost word for word what I said.
I remember you saying that.
Right. So I said to myself, okay, I guess that maybe somebody on this crew watched it.
I would very much believe that he would watch your stuff, because I've known he was very interactive, and I mean, we're talking in the early 2000s, but when he was doing Atlantis, like, he was in the message boards with the fans. Like, so he has a history of that. And I think he's making, because the people he's brought on, like he's brought Brad Wright, who, started out doing the with Stargate, hemmed all the shows there for Stargate, and then went on to do Travelers afterwards.
I like Travelers.
And he's doing Joseph Malazzi, who I believe was it Darkwater or what that he did afterwards. So like, he's bringing the people from Stargate back.
Maybe then there's a chance, but if he doesn't change whatever he did on that Quantum Leap thing, if he's coming with the same mentality, it's going to be a disaster. If he really comes in and he wants to let go of all that stuff, it's cool. And one of the things that I'll say is, normally, I'm not like a critical drinker level YouTuber. It's not that I have like millions of followers or anything like that on any of my channels. But what I'll say is that Quantum Leap, there's just not a lot of people that did reviews on it at all. I don't think that it had a lot of viewership. Anybody that was a fan gave up pretty early. So it's like what Ron Donofero, I think you were saying, oh, you're here with me for
I'm here.
You're not even on the chat. So the thing is that I think that there wouldn't be a lot of reviews you could watch, or maybe Tech said it. If you Googled like Quantum Leap, all that you would see was these kind of shills that a lot of time Jiro would give them early access, even if they had like 5 subscribers. Especially if they had 5 subscribers, things that had like almost no viewers, he would give them just so there's some positive videos. He'd give them in advance to watch the thing. He'd give them exclusive interviews. The cast and crew would go on these very small channels to do interviews, and everybody would be kissing their butts and all that kind of stuff. And if you Googled Quantum Leap review, one of the only channels that would come up with negative reviews would be mine. I'm the only one that bothered even to do those reviews. So I'm thinking to myself that if Jiro went and just wrote Quantum Leap review, no chance that he's not at least running into some of mine. And that's also why I think, and again, I'm very careful about what I'm saying, but some things that happened behind the scenes, I believe it was all tied to that. So it's not that I'm just kind of patting myself on the back. If this was like Star Wars and I had that size of a channel, I don't know if anybody would notice my reviews. Specifically with Quantum Leap in the new one, that's how people saw my reviews.
Well, that's
And
the thing
Jiro's
you have
is
to
annoying.
you
Sorry,
have to
go on.
give the reviews that you were doing credit. It attracted people like me and Tex to you. This is how I met you. So I mean, I've got to give at least credit for that. It was kind of the show you love to hate, sort of. It makes me think of the old days when Dallas was so popular, and oh, but JR is terrible. Yeah, but without JR, there was no show. It was you watched it because you loved to hate him. Well, the new QL was a little different than that because the show just was horrible. But the reviews were you love to watch to get the reviews because hating it was kind of fun.
I mean, it was fun, but the truth is that I really do like Quantum Leap, and it was an important part of my childhood growing up. So when I saw this happening, and that nobody was saying it, nobody actually was doing these reviews. I only saw the kiss ass ones, the ones that you were describing. It motivated me because I said, like, at least one person has to sit down and do proper reviews to explain why this thing is crappy. And I didn't even know I was doing it. It could have been that I would have had 5 viewers watching them. At the end, usually there would be like, sometimes even a few thousand people watching, like seeing it. In some cases, sometimes, less. But I'm saying that even if there was 5 people watching each time, I'd still do those reviews. It was like therapy for myself. And I actually invested a lot of thought in them.
Well, I literally watched the new Quantum Leap longer than I intended to because I wanted to watch the show and then read your review.
Yes.
Seriously.
For a new show, I mean, we kind of skewed in the new Quantum Leap, but I also think for a top secret government run installation, they let anybody walk in there. I would just couldn't believe that.
Right. Anybody just walked in there. And again, I know this is going to sound controversial, but I still think, and I'm not trying to, I don't tell people how to live their lives, okay? I'm a live and let live kind of guy. But I think in a military base, a guy that keeps wearing cocktail dresses and like lipstick, I don't know, and then like barks at his commanding officer is a strange thing to watch on a show. I think that
you never watched MASH.
Oh, Klinger's a whole different deal.
It's a whole different situation. Yeah. I mean, at least on MASH they wore uniforms and stuff in that wherever they are in that tent. It's like there's just something that unbelievable. It looks like people that have never even thought about visiting any kind of military base, just writing, as if they're writing for Gossip Girl, thinking that Gossip Girl is what happens on a military base.
All right. So first of all, that is probably the third mention of Gossip Girl on tonight's show for some reason, twice in the chat and once in the panel.
We're not watching the pilot.
It was just a little weird.
I understand. No, I don't watch that show. I don't watch it. I once had a girlfriend and she watched it. And the only reason I've ever watched Gossip Girl is because she sat and watched it and I was forced to look at it. And it was pretty awful. Awful.
We believe you, Bryce.
I also watched it for the same reason every episode of Sex and the City, which I also regret. But sometimes in relationships, you have to make compromises because later you want to put shows that you do like. So you have to also have like, on your resume.
You took one for the team.
Yeah, on your resume, you also have to have these other crappy shows that you watched.
See, me and my wife have the perfect arrangement. We have the shows we both like, and then there's the shows I like that I watch by myself, and the shows she's like. So, because she likes Kardashians and Teen Mom and that kind of stuff. She likes seeing people with really, really bad lives that make her feel great about all the choices she's made. And I can't get my head around watching any of that. and thankfully she doesn't ask me to watch that. And when we were dating, she really didn't like superhero stuff. I like superhero stuff. And I thought I was 19 at the time. And I really thought she was going to love Spider-Man 2. I'm like, it's a love story. It's a love story. And so we watched Spider-Man 2 and she hated it. And I told her if she watched it with me, she'd never have to watch another superhero movie with me. And
she took you on it.
She took me on it. Although she does watch Superman. When we first got married, I had the seasons of the New Adventures of Lois and Clark from the 90s.
I want to see that one. I haven't seen that one yet.
That is a good show. It is a good show. You know, we were talking about Smallville being like the precursor to the CW. That show is not. It is not drama. It is not. That is a great, amazing show. And I encourage anybody to get that.
Which one?
Lois
Which is a
and
great
Clark,
show?
right? Lois and Clark, not to be confused with what's the other one? Superman
and Lois.
Yeah. So what's the difference between those? I haven't seen
Lois and Clark was the first one with Hatcher, right? And Terry Hatcher.
Yeah, Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher in the 90s.
Yeah.
They're adults. It starts off like a Superman movie with Superman making his big debut in Metropolis, Clark starting his job at the Daily Planet, and it's all about their relationship. The show, admittedly, you know, you talk about shows going on too long. I think it's 5 seasons, but like the last season, they're married, so the secret's out, and that kind of kills some of the joy, because a lot of the joy is her teasing him and being in love with Superman and you know, kind of but them being partners as reporters. But great show, great amazing show. The new one that the CW did, it did a lot of things that were good, but I mean, it's still a CW show.
You mean Superman and Lois?
Yes, but it's okay. They've been that one's about them married with kids kind of later in life.
Oh, okay.
And Lois is going through cancer treatment, and so their kids are starting to get superpowers, so they feel the need to move back to Smallville, where they can kind of control and raise the kids and try to do that. And it does a lot of things good, but it is a drama show like any CW show is, but it isn't a lot of the stuff that the other shows got caught up in.
Tex said, "You guys are way off topic. I'm out of here."
No. Well, he said I've never seen Superman and Lois. I don't know. He disappeared.
Yeah, he's still in the chat, I guess. But
yeah, the New Adventures of Superman. That is a great show.
There he is. Welcome back, Tex.
Thanks. Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Oh, okay.
But that one's and that one has a good pilot. It would be that would be an interesting one to do at some point. A superhero show before. This was before superhero shows were. The CW has kind of made them this kind of teen drama series.
Mm-hmm.
They're soap operas now. This was much more in line with like a romantic buddy cop type thing, but it and I mean some of the stuff is dated as far as like the effects and stuff, but it holds up, because a lot of it's practical and a lot of it looks really good despite its age.
Dated doesn't bother us old people.
Yeah. But it's not it's not George Reeves jumping out a window onto an ironing board.
Okay.
It looks a lot better than that.
It's funny watching some of the old original Supermans. You don't realize how cornball they actually were.
So, I don't know if any of you've done this. I spent a couple months ago. I was going through listening to the old radio show.
Oh, I haven't listened.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I used to listen to that on my way home when I did the night shift.
Tex loves old radio shows. Tex. Oops, Tex.
He keeps hitting the wrong button.
But that one was shocking. Some of the things that they would saying there, and
Should
some
we
of the expressions that Superman would have, it gave me a kick.
should we tell or put up a link to the place whereupon someone in the chat might want to visit to acquire a Quantum Leap Revisited T-shirt?
Oh, sure. I don't remember now how to do that.
They
Mary
look like
White.
this in a mirror.
I mean, if you're watching this stream, usually it appears on the stream or on the channel or whatever it
I
is.
think there's a store link underneath,
Right.
if I remember correctly, or above.
Of course, nobody wears it as well as Script Doctor.
That is true.
Tex
don't
says
s-
he's
I don't
trying
see
to
it.
swap and hit login by mistake, so he should be back
Yeah.
in a minute. Hey,
I don't
Tex,
see
we're
the,
talking about old time radio. It's one of your favorite things.
I don't see the link in the description.
Is Tex in the back room?
He's still in
Yes.
the chat.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
well,
wait a second.
he's in the back room. There he is.
There he is.
Yes, I love old time radio. I've got a huge collection of old time radio shows.
Yeah, the wife and I watch. We listen to old time radio as we're going to sleep. You know, a lot of there's a lot of good ones. Unfortunately, a lot of them they have not cleaned up the audio on them. But you know, there's a lot of good classic stuff.
Yeah. One of the things that I always find funny with that early Superman is like the first 100 episodes or so. He's not revealed Superman to the world, but anytime he does something super, he changes into the Superman outfit, even if there's nobody around.
I was going to say that's sort of like Smallville, except for he didn't have a suit.
Yeah, well, he would change into the Superman suit, but then hope nobody sees him. Like, why are you wearing a
What's the
brightly
point?
colored suit? But now, I think it was while I have you back here, Tex. You had mentioned, I think you said something to me about trying to get into Big Finish, but not liking what you'd found or not finding the right thing.
Yes, it was very difficult to find shows that would be of interest. When I first started getting into Doctor Who, I was trying to get all the books for first all the regenerations and then all the books for when companions left. And so I like shows that like that. I was looking for Big Finish shows that explain bits of the canon. I own 2 and I still haven't listened to them. I just am having a hard time really getting into it.
Yeah, the problem is Big Finish has done so much, and there's so a lot of it's depending on what you like. But I would recommend going to like a podcatcher, whether it be Apple iTunes or Spotify, or I use Podcast Addict, and search Into the TARDIS.
Okay.
And Big Finish put about 20 stories for free.
Oh wow, cool.
And on that amazing discovery, I think Mary White to send us some shout outs. So let's do that. Julie Evans, Tex Rogers, who was here on the panel, Matthew McGee and his wife Christy, Ron Donofero, also here on the panel, Kit Kat, Tracy Alexander, Michelle Ferry, Matthew Marcillo, Mur Rockstra. Shout outs number 2, Caleb Levine, Malachi D. Wildman, Marks for 7, Miss Sparkles, Marlo Sharondoff, Glade Riven, Lasher 5520. And I think that Lisa could try and said she would try to make it, but she had to do stuff today, so she was going to arrive late. I guess she didn't arrive in time, but we'll catch up with her.
When we do the wrap up, if maybe we can invite her on for a few minutes if she's
right when we do the wrap up. So like I said, I think it's good to start the year with a new show. Next week maybe we'll do just a chill thing. We'll go over, we'll rank the worst, whatever it is, final thing that we have to do. And if she's around, maybe we'll invite her as well. And
We'll do the top 5 chat comments.
Top 5 chat comments. I want to thank everybody that was here. Ro, of course, always great to see you here. Always great to see you, Nick. And very much great to see Ron Donofero and Tex Rogers here. It was so great to hang out with you guys. hope you guys had fun too in the chat also. And Michelle Ferry says it's been a great Thursday night with you all. I love you all. You all make Thursday so much better. We feel the same way about you. Hey, Tomahawk, how's it going? Yeah, thank you, Mary White, Roe, and then Glade Riven. Thank you for participating. You have Nick's channel as well. Totally, all that stuff, all that good stuff. Is there anything else that we wanted to say or do or anything?
Just wanted
I just
to
want to
say thank
say,
you.
yeah, I just want to say
Honored
it
to have
was
been here.
Oh, you took the words from my mouth. and thank you for making Thursdays something I always look forward to.
Very nice.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for joining us down this journey. You know, it's fun, but having all of you in the chat makes it extra special.
Oh,
I
everyone
agree.
hit like.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we'll do our outro and we'll be on our way. Bye.
I'm such an awesome guy. I make so many videos. And my friends are awesome too. They make so many videos. I'm such an awesome guy. I make so many videos. Now we are an awesome group making live streams for you. I'm